Hello, Chase Wilson here, Senior Consultant at Sterling. I get a lot of questions regarding hiring, especially when it comes to growing a business or keeping a business prospering. Now, I want to cover one of the first steps, the cost of a bad employee. And you look at a bad employee. If you look at a number of factors, we're going to cover a couple factors in here, but if you just look at this right here, what should an employee be doing? Now, if you make a list of what they should not be doing, that's a bad employee. They should not be bringing negative energy. They shouldn't be complaining to you. They shouldn't ask you to do their job. They shouldn't ask you to decide on their job. That's what you pay them for. So get the idea. You started this, whatever it is, a dental practice, accounting, veterinarian, you started something, and it was probably you, maybe one other person. Then as you grew, you added more people. Why'd you add more people? Well, you have more functions to do. And now you're expanding. Well, that's a good thing. If you have a bad employee, it's going to stop you from expanding. If you have a bad employee, you're going to not want to give them things. You're going to want to take their job. Now, you don't go outside and grab the lawnmower from your gardener and start mowing your lawn. And if you do, that's a problem, right? You would correct them. You'd say, hey, listen, you're missing this spot here. You're cutting too short. Whatever's going on, you would correct them. A bad employee, you either need to correct them, and they're going to correct, or you need to get rid of them. Get this idea right here. Let's just take, I don't know, let's say the person's making $40,000 a year. So this is what their salary, their pay is, right? We're going to add some, I don't know, payroll taxes, some benefits. Let's just say that comes to there, whatever you have. So what do we have? We have $50,000. Okay, so that's what they cost you every year to have them. Now, if they're not producing, if they're not actually benefiting the practice, not only are you spending $50,000, you're spending far more to correct their mistakes and do their job. Now, if you haven't heard of it, it's called the 3 times theory. There's also the 5 times theory. We're going to cover the 3 times theory. Whatever the person's paid, they should be doing 3 times that as a minimum. So that's $150,000. I don't care if that's a receptionist, a hygienist, a legal aid, whatever their job is, whatever their pay is, it should be 3 times. And so $150,000 a year is what this person should be doing. Now, if they're not doing that, so you're already losing money. And a bad employee won't do that. Now, this is going to be your responsibility. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that 3 times number is? And if you don't know that, then you better believe they don't know that. So you have to know, good, this is what it is, excuse me, they have to know what it is that is expected from them. They have to know that. A good employee will say, they might even be overwhelmed. They might go, oh, it's a lot, but they're going to work towards it. And let's say they're only doing 80,000. Well, they're going to do 85,000. They're going to do 90,000. They're going to do 110,000. They're always going to be moving to this. A bad employee is going to tell you why that doesn't work, why they can't do their job, how other people are affecting that getting done. A bad employee, and not only will a bad employee do that, they'll go to other staff and tell them they can't believe that you're asking them to do that, right? So the cost of a bad employee is not only to you, it's not only the bottom line, but it's also to the rest of the staff, because the rest of the staff get the idea. Well, this person's not doing it. Why would I do it? The other point, which is a very important factor I hear all the time from staff. I talk to thousands of staff a year. I hear from them, you know, our owner doesn't do this. They let these things happen. And it's not always your fault. I understand. But if you're going to hold on to a bad employee, the staff notice that. If you're going to have someone who's not producing, and that's what they're going to think of you, is someone who lets people get away with something. And then guess what? If they know you're going to let them get away with this much, they're going to stretch this much, and the whole staff are going to feel depleted, and they're definitely not going to feel like following the policy because that person doesn't follow the policy. So that's another key important factor of the cost of a bad employee. It can literally be hundreds of thousands of dollars that one person can cost you. Okay? So here's the solution. Probably many of you have run into that. Here is the solution. 1, you don't have to hold on to a bad employee. Well, I should even say 0. You can make employees that might not be producing productive by making sure they have goals, quotas, and they're getting trained. Sterling specializes in that, finding what that person should be doing and the steps to help them get there. We've been doing it for over 36 years. Now, that is step 0. Like I said, step 1, giving them the goal. You have to give them that goal. And then the other factor, which is a very important factor to pay attention to, is are they moving toward it? Are they moving toward it, right? The other thing is if you are expanding, you need to bring on new people. So holding on to bad people, yeah, it doesn't work. We'll help you with that. Getting new people. I find so many times people hire someone off just this interview, this vibe, this energy, good at reading people. I'm going to say 99.9% of the time, I don't find that working out. I've interviewed people, I said, wow, what an amazing interview. And without an accurate way to test them, to know about them, do a working interview, right now you're just getting a facade. You're getting what their resume wants you to get. And that right there can be very dangerous. I'm sure many of you have hired only to find out that something wasn't true. And by this time, you're committed. You've already hired them. You know, the deal is done. And that is also dangerous. And you don't know what to predict from them. Because of course they told you they work late. Of course they've told you all those things. And that's what they're supposed to tell you because they're selling you to get a job. We're going to show you a couple tools to overcome that, a couple questions to help find some of those points. But more importantly, there's a whole series of tests that we do to help find that. All right, so let's get jumping into hiring. A couple different points. So at minimum, it's going to cost you $150,000 a year. That's to answer that question. And I want to know from you in the comments, I want to know what you run into in regards to hiring, not finding qualified applicants, getting people who apply who aren't even in the same field. You know, what is it you run into? All right, I'll see you in the next video.